as we talked about in key performance indicators, you can't just construct a single a single number that tells you if everything is going
the
well.
Awesomeness factor.
Yeah, the awesome number. It's really tempting because it'd be much easier to think about one number than 10.
Yeah.
So every once in a while, and this happened in my analytics job at P&G. It happens throughout the industry. Is you'll be analyzing a system and looking at all sorts of different things, and the idea will come up. It's like, well, why don't we just make a hybrid or some formula that tells us this the golden number, like what this is how our business is performing. And the thing is, you can create a golden number. You can create a formula that's takes in all these inputs and spits out one number.
Right.
You can do it. A lot of businesses have. The problem is the golden number tells you nothing.
Right.
Going to that level, basically abstracting that much from what's going on, takes out any possibility of you actually learning something from that number.
Right. It's like, even if it's going up, you don't know what you're doing right. And if it's going down, you don't know what you're doing wrong.
Right. I mean, a lot of people think of like the price of a publicly traded stock as kind of a number like that. It's like, it's a measure of how the company's doing. Well, no, not really. It's an aggregate of a whole lot of things. And, let's say the price goes up by 5% or down by 10%. I mean, who knows what happened?
Right.
And, it's an aggregate of so many different things that are all changing so quickly that there's nothing, watching the stock price tick up or down doesn't help you do anything. So the idea here and what's important is context. Okay. And context is basically using a set of numbers, the smaller the set possible, the less to deal with.
Okay.
But it's using different numbers to actually provide insight on each other or more information about what's actually going on.
Okay.
Okay. Good example is, the page view number that we talked about earlier.
Right.
Okay. So, or even let's take it one step further. Let's imagine that we can actually see the people, right? Unique visitors. Okay. So you have 1 million unique visitors to a single web page in a given month.
Okay.
Is that good?
Maybe.
We don't know, right? You have no context. Okay. If that page, in a relevant time period, so using some norms, if that page usually gets 10 million, no, 1 million's not good.
Right.
If that page usually gets 10, that's really good. Okay, right? So you can use that norm to provide some context, right? That immediately tells you a direction of, or, what is actually happening here.
So do you normally compare this against time or against competitors, or?
You usually use a very small set of key performance indicators to compare. Okay. And it depends on what the measurement is.
Sure.
So, another thing that you can do is you can look at your unique visitors number.
Right.
And you can also look at two other metrics. We're using websites here, but it applies to anything. One measurement is time on site.
Yep.
And another measurement is what's called bounce rate. Okay. So what if I told you that 1 million visitors came to visit this webpage, but 99% of them left that web page within the first 5 seconds of visiting it?
Yeah, that's bad.
It's really bad. Really bad. That's what's called a bounce rate. Now, if most of those people stick around and they spend an average of 2 hours and 35 minutes on this particular website,
That's very good.
That's extremely good, right? So we're only using 3 numbers here. We're using visitors, bounce rate, and time on site. But just those 3 numbers actually tell you a lot about what's going on.
Right.
Okay, that's an example of how you use context.
Okay.
You use interrelated pieces of information
I see.
to further understand what your numbers actually mean.
Cool.